The 1686 peace treaty between Russia and Poland, Lithuania. Yeah, Russia and Poland. So you had Russia on one side and then Lithuania, Poland on the other. They put those together because at one point in time, both Poland and Lithuania were one country. They were one nation. So watch out, Lithuania. Poland's going to come for you next. Before, Poland they used to be one nation, right? That's the shit that Putin is saying he's doing to goddamn Ukraine. 1686, Candace Owens says that the Ukraine was just invented yesterday. No, the Ukraine has actually been invented for quite some time. In 1686, they're all fighting over the Ukraine. Russia and Poland and Lithuania, they're fighting over the Ukraine. They signed a peace treaty. This peace treaty is a real peace treaty. It's got a preamble, 33 articles. And what the peace treaty had said was that the Russians get to own the left bank Ukraine and right bank Kiev, and Lithuania would get themselves 145,000 rubles and right bank Ukraine. So left bank Ukraine and right bank Kiev, and I guess Poland, Lithuania got left bank Kiev. I don't know. It kind of sounds like Russia and Lithuania split Ukraine down the middle, with Russia getting the bigger half. They were getting not the lion's share, but the bigger half. Not hugely, but it was a diplomatic success. Kiev is like almost, to me, it sounds like Kiev in Ukraine is like East and West Berlin when it was partitioned and the Berlin Wall. So you had Eastern Ukraine as the Russian monarchs, and you had Western Kiev were the monarchs of Lithuania and Poland in 1686. Left bank Ukraine is a big chunk of north-central Ukraine, comprising the modern-day oblast of Chernihiv, Poltava, Sumy, as well as the eastern parts of Kiev and Cherkasy. The region of Zaporizhzhia, Sich, the Siberian land, cities of Chernihiv, Starodub, Smolensk. Smolensk and its outskirts were also ceded to Russia, while Poland retained right bank Ukraine. Both parties agreed not to sign a separate treaty with the Ottoman Empire. That's kind of the situation in 1686. You got the Ukraine. The Ottoman says Ukraine is ours, and then Poland and Russia's like, well, shit, we don't want to just let the Ottoman Turks take goddamn fucking Ukraine. So they say, well, we got to, sign a treaty amongst ourselves. We got to stop fighting amongst ourselves. And that's what they did. So Poland and Russia, Lithuania, they're going to sign this treaty amongst themselves. And essentially they're saying they're against the Ottoman Empire, right? They're against the Turks. They're against the Ottoman Empire. The Ottomans had invaded, but they are trying to stop the invasion of the Ottoman Empire. So both parties, Poland, Lithuania, and Russia, said that they're not going to sign a separate peace treaty with the Ottoman Empire. 1686. This is a diplomatic success for the Russians. The treaty is a diplomatic success for the Russians and a loss for the Ottomans. And for the Polish, I'm not sure if it was great, if the Polish lost or gained anything. They, made some money, right? They got 145,000 rubles, and they got right bank Ukraine, so they got half of Ukraine. So it seems to be they're more in the middle, right? Kind of good, kind of bad, but great for the Russians, terrible for the Ottomans. But again, Russia, the Ottomans wanted the Ukraine, but Russia and Poland said, no, Ukraine is ours. That's our bitch. That's our whore. That's our wife. That's our, whatever, slave to do whatever we want with. By signing this treaty, Russia became a member of the anti-Turkish coalition, which comprised Polish, Lithuania, Commonwealth, the Holy Roman Empire, and Venice. Russia pledged to organize a military campaign against the Crimean Khanate, which led to the Russo-Turkish War, 1686 to 1700. So there you go. There you go. For Russia, they got a bunch of territories, right? They got all those cities, the Zaporizhzhian, Sich, and the Siberian lands, and Chernihiv, and Starodub. Can't forget about Starodub. And then the Russians also got to be a part of a bigger alliance with the Polish-Lithuania Commonwealth, but also with Venice, a city in Italy, and the Holy Roman Empire. So there you go. I don't know if that's so great for Russia because they're going to fight this damn war for 14 fucking years against the Ottomans. So, all right, we'll give you the greater chunk of all the land, but you're going to have to fight the Ottomans. And I wonder how they did. Did they win or lose that war? Let's check it out. I mean, is that what she meant? Because of the Russo-Turkish War? So this lasted for 14 years. The larger European conflict was known as the Great Turkish War, Russo-Turkish War. The Great Turkish War. So everybody's against Turkey. They're just an empire trying to take everybody over. The Russo-Turkish War began after the Tsardom of Russia joined the European anti-Turkish coalition in 1686. So damn, that treaty does really start the Russian-Turkish War. Poland and Lithuania agreed to recognize the Russian incorporation of Kiev and the left bank of Ukraine. So, all right, fine, Russia. We'll give you a piece of Ukraine and we'll give you a piece of Kiev. Are you happy now? Fine, fine. I'll take half of it, and I'll come back later for the other half. During the war, the Russian army organized the Crimean campaign in 1687. Okay, what happened? Peace treaty. In light of preparations for the war against the Swedish Empire, Russian Tsar Peter the Great signed the treaty of Karlowitz with the Ottoman Empire in 1699. The subsequent Treaty of Constantinople, 1700, ceded Azov. So does that mean the Azov Battalion, the Taganrog Fortress, Pavlovsk, and Mias to Russia and established a Russian ambassador in Constantinople and secured the return of all prisoners of war. The Tsar also affirmed that his subordinates, the Cossacks, would not attack the Ottomans, while the Sultan affirmed his subordinates, the Crimean Tatars, would not attack the Russians. So Russian victory. The Russians gained possession of Azov, fortress of Taganrog, Pavlovsk, and Mias. In good old Mias. So, okay, there you go. There you go. In a way, Russia spilled blood for part of Ukraine, half of Kiev, and, the north central part of Kiev. So they got some claim, right? They can say we shed blood on this land. And that's a pretty big claim. But like that old Ukrainian woman, I'm just going to put sunflower seeds in your pockets so that flowers will grow after. The flowers will use your body as fertilizer to grow, you fucking